The Shadow Crew Podcast.
I could never tell what country he was from in that movie. Bloodsport, where he like looks at the camera.
Little Irish dude walking around doesn't sound like that's going to go too well.
Volume 2, that's the best spaceships of all time.
He-Man's powers.
It does come with its own castle.
And he dies in the first episode of the movie.
Oh no, sir! He's in the entire film. Sit back, get your popcorn, and enjoy your note taking on that epic film.
Well,
okay. Microphone test 1, 2, 3. We are live. It is
no more just dropping video, huh?
No, I love it. This is the Shadow Crew Podcast, episode number 30. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, subscribe the channel. I am excited for this week because for those of you who have not been following the Shadow Crew Podcast, week over week, we have been doing the best of series from Van Damme versus Seagal in a 32 film elimination bracket to Arnold versus Stallone in a 32 elimination bracket. Are you curious who got best film, who won the battles? Check the channel. But tonight is Tom Cruise versus Tom Cruise in 32 films bracket elimination. Oh boy, what a diverse group of films, and he's made some really killer films. So I'm excited to jump into that. Thanks for tuning in. Outside of that, just before we jump into the 32 bracket elimination challenge for Mr. Tom Cruise, there's a lot of other things in the world of entertainment and pop culture, but we'll be talking a little bit about like memorabilia and what is the theme with the popcorn buckets being thematic with these new releases. First, Dune had this crazy bucket, the worm, and now Ghostbusters has this badass popcorn bucket. So we'll talk about that as after the elimination bracket. Walking Dead, it's back. Is it good? Walking Dead apology? Like, we'll talk about that because it may be different than we imagined when we first heard that Rick Grimes was coming back, and a lot of other cool things in channel updates. But without further ado, let us begin. Cruise versus Cruise, the best film, 32 film elimination bracket.
Light the fuse. Shut up. Bullets in the fall, kill him. I will not apologize for who I am. Yeah, baby.
Well,
So
some amazing editing power by
best cameo ever in Austin Powers, by the way.
yes,
hands down, best one, hands down.
And here's the tough thing is, in my opinion, Tom Cruise is the biggest movie star of all time. In longevity, still making blockbusters, still relevant. I don't think he ever ages. The diversity of films. You could talk about the Arnolds and the Stallones and all that, but in my opinion, Tom Cruise is number one. So in my opinion, it's going to be very difficult.
Harrison Ford.
Oh, come on.
Not even close.
Look, Harrison Ford did not go to the anti-age clinic like Tom
Well,
Cruise
that's true.
gets his vampire blood from or wherever he goes, but it's much different than that. But I think it's going to be tough. And what are you all thoughts before we jump in and explain the rules for those who are new listeners? What do you think about Cruise versus Cruise? Any early predictions?
Yeah, well, obviously Tom Cruise. So it's a little bit difficult, but this is the first time we've had an actual star on the show in the elimination bracket that basically has from action to drama to this guy's done it all, and the longevity of him, because we've had again the Stallone versus Arnold, and we've had the Jean-Claude Van Damme versus Seagal, and while these guys had their time, Tom Cruise has been able to consecutively keep going all the way up until this last Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Like, this guy is still making great films, and he's still making extremely popular films. So this one's going to be tough, man. I thought Arnold and Sly was tough, and when I saw this pop up in our brackets, I was like, oh, man, this is going to be really tough.
Come on, Vanilla Sky.
That's my hopes. That's my hopes and dreams. I think Tom Cruise is great. Every generation has a Tom Cruise that lived in that generation that did films, and that's hard. Yeah. That's good. It's good, man. So I'm excited to see what happens. Looked at the bracket, was like, this is gonna. Some of these are pretty difficult, so I'm excited.
100%. And also, if anybody wants to bracket along with us, if you go over to our Instagram, that's the Shadow Knows Network on Instagram. There's a link there that you can download the bracket. We'll start putting that up for the YouTube channel as well. So in the future weeks, so if you want to actually bracket along with us and see if we're going good, you can head over to the Instagram, Shadow Knows Network, Shadow with an E, and you can follow along with us.
Awesome. Well, for those of you, again, who haven't participated or viewed the previous brackets that we've done or best of series, it is a round by round elimination of 32 films. These are Tom Cruise films, so they're matched up one by one, and then they'll advance into a very similar NCAA tournament bracket, Sweet 16, 8, Final 4, down to 2, and then our best Tom Cruise film of all time. There are definitely more Tom Cruise films than 32, so a couple of qualifications. One, Tom Cruise really had to be the star of the film. So as an example, Tropic Thunder, he basically stole the show. That's not a Tom Cruise film, but obviously an epic performance. So that's not listed on here. And then there's a few others that like were at the very bottom of Rotten Tomatoes, or maybe very early on where he was like a teenager or younger. So look, it's our bracket. We can do what we want. So if you have any comments, drop it. We may have missed some films, but we tried to narrow down to the top 32. So without further ado, you all ready to jump into it?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Okay. Lastly, if there is a tie between us of who advances, we check Rotten Tomatoes, audience, and critic score. And then if that doesn't settle the score, we look at overall box office and Tom Cruise's box office. So that'll be an interesting take. All right. Let's jump right into things and pull up the bracket.
Hold on
1 second. That's not the right one, so I apologize.
Sorry, we got rid of it. We got rid of that fast on the fly editing. That's what we do here.
Always a technical difficulty. Always
a technical.
Yeah, hey, and this is a perfect time for you guys to. We're actually giving away subscriptions. All you have to do is click on the button to notify us, and we'll give you one for free. You could do thumbs up. That gets you into the drawing for free subscriptions. There's a lot you could do. It's fantastic. Welcome to the show. Do we want that, or should we do this? Let's do this.
This. Yeah, I like it. Okay. Round number 1, the first ever Mission Impossible 1996 versus Born on the 4th of July.
I was working at Paramount in 1996, so got the actual merch from that.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think you did remember. Yeah, I do remember that. I actually do remember the merch.
You went to Braveheart.
I did.
Around the same time.
That. Yes. That was kind of awesome, brother. That was kind of awesome. Yeah.
Now, Born on the 4th of July is, since he was nominated for an Academy Award and everything, probably a better movie, but I like Mission Impossible better.
Brian De Palma, Tom Cruise, you got me. Like it's always, for me, it's Mission Impossible. It started the franchise, And wow, what a start to the franchise. So even though I do like Born on 4th of July, and it is one of his rare, Oscar nominations, which I don't think in the future he's going to get too many either, because he keeps bumping the norms. But I'll be honest with you, it's Mission Impossible.
Mission
Chat.
Impossible. Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible.
I like the title of the other movie, but it's not as good
Yeah.
as Mission Impossible.
This is a tough one for me because honestly, it's probably my least favorite Mission Impossible.
Wow.
I could see
You
that
thought
though.
2 was better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
What? Oh no,
come
man.
on.
Oh my.
Yes. Yes.
All right,
it
hold on.
was.
Let me just log off. Like, no. 2, the John Woo 2. Come on, man.
I mean, I know we got some hate for John Woo.
Woo.
But as a action film sci-fi podcast, it's only right that we advance Mission Impossible. But it was tough. Dr. Brantley's favorite, Vanilla
I
Sky
know.
versus
Yes.
Oblivion.
Well, what people fail to realize is that he had stock in that film, so it's never going to pay his dividends, though, brother. I'm sorry. Oblivion, which was also, I did not know at the time, was a graphic novel as well. That was a much better film, although Vanilla Sky had its interesting moments, and it had a classic 1969 Ford Mustang fastback in the bullet green. Unfortunately, it's Oblivion.
Oblivion.
I actually loved Oblivion.
Yeah.
And I know it was a little bit slow and it dragged on and didn't do super well. I think it was just like a cool change of pace, kind of like a retro sci-fi with like cool special effects. I liked the concept. So I definitely liked it better than Vanilla Sky, but I thought like Oblivion's is underrated. Just my preference.
Well, those are all good points. But I think we're overlooking something important here, because Vanilla Sky was great. It's not a bad movie. Oblivion was fantastic. But if you're going to put Morgan Freeman in the title, like, I'm always going with that movie. Okay? Because we're missing the whole point here that Morgan Freeman was in Oblivion. And like, that dude could read the back of a spaghetti bottle and I would just pay to listen. And Morgan Freeman's badass anyways. So, Oblivion gets it because I did actually enjoy the story of Oblivion. It was slower, but sometimes you just need that in a movie. It was fantastic for that. But yeah, you put Morgan Freeman on the title, like, I'm going to pick that movie every time. Even though it's about Tom Cruise. It's still Morgan Freeman.
All in favor of Oblivion advancing?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to the next group of films, and that is Jerry Maguire versus Night and Day.
Easy choice for me. Just show me the money.
Show me the money.
The money. It's got some of the best. Look, it got Cuba Gooding Jr. Cuba Gooding Jr.
You can't say his name. Don't try. Don't try to say his name.
Got him an Academy Award. Just come on. It's like it's a perfect blend of a film. And it was kind of it was a very surprising film because I didn't expect it to be as good as it is, because again, here's Tom Cruise. We underestimate him most of the time, but he really did a superb job. But also his cast was perfect around him. Brilliant film. Yeah. So yeah, Jerry Maguire.
You had me at Jerry Maguire.
All right. Next up is Risky Business versus The Edge of Tomorrow.
I do like me some Risky Business, but damn, The Edge of Tomorrow was pretty good.
This is a tough one for me.
Yeah, it is.
Edge of Tomorrow is one of my favorite Tom Cruise films, and as great and classic as Risky Business is, I think Edge of Tomorrow is just a better film, in my opinion.
I'm sure. Like I said again, I'll expect the hate comments to come in for this one.
There shouldn't be any. When Edge of Tomorrow is better, it's better.
But there's diehard Risky Business fans, but it's the Edge of Tomorrow for me too.
Yeah, even though I will say, and kids, this is what it was like growing up in the 80s. I was taken to Risky Business in a theater, and I was, 11 years old at the time. I really liked it. But Edge of Tomorrow is a better movie.
I'm sure you did.
Hey, but you know what? Emily Blunt being a badass in the film was just as good.
Exactly.
So
Not
okay,
as good as-
Legend tomorrow.
Well, not as quite as good as
Yeah.
Rebecca De Mornay on that subway, but
Next up is Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut versus Collateral. The first time we've seen Tom Cruise play a bad guy in a motion picture.
Yeah. And Meek gave us the Jerry Maguire. Yes, Meek, we went with that. You know, again, being one of Stanley Kubrick's films, it was oddly weird. I will give him credit for that because he has a great job of decisiveness. But, you know, Michael Mann and Collateral, like Tom Cruise, really, again, when you expect him not to pull it out the box, my man does, man. That's probably one of the best villains on the screen, and he does it absolutely cold-blooded. But also Michael Mann's whole direction with that as well. It's Collateral.
yes, Collateral. And this is one of the good ones that we worked on. Did the trailer for this?
Yeah, and I think Jamie Foxx did a phenomenal job in this.
Yes,
movie.
he did.
Yes.
Yeah. But the pacing, the cinematography is very Michael Mann-esque. So, yep, that advances. Next up, The Color of Money and Top Gun Maverick, the movie that may have saved Hollywood.
It did, actually. It did. Love The Color of Money. I know it's a sequel, but Top Gun Maverick was a better film.
Maverick.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It's Maverick.
Yeah.
I don't like
up-
the fact that they went through and redid the whole film to remove Taiwan from his jacket, but that's whatever. I don't know if you knew that. That's why I got to whatever.
This film, a lot of people don't know, but Legend, epic villain in this, played by Tim Curry, Ridley Scott,
So good.
early Tom Cruise film, and then MI3. So way different, opposite sides of the spectrum here. What do we think here?
Yeah, let's see. And that MI3, I knew we should watch more.
That
Mission
was the
Impossible this
one
week.
that
He jumped off a building, then another building.
no, J.J. Abrams directed. It was kind of the reboot after MI2.
It's the one,
failed.
the helicopter and everything, right? Or was that?
That's the one with who is it? Philip Seymour Hoffman is the bad
yes,
guy.
yeah, I remember that.
And
okay.
they blow up the Kremlin, I believe.
I do. Yep. Wow.
Billy Crudup's in it too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Although I've seen both in Legend for a time, but Legend is really dated now. Every time I've seen it, I'm like, wow, it's like, it really looks like it's an 80s film. Mission Impossible 3, even though it's a J.J. Abrams film, please, I hope no one holds that against me.
I love Legend, and I think MI3 is one of the weaker ones after the second one. So I'm going to go Legend.
Okay.
Yeah.
We may have to do that box office thing right here.
I am on Dr. Brantley's side.
Okay.
And it's because it's an early Tom Cruise film. But the cast for Legend was fantastic. And it was all complimented really well. And Tim Curry, I'm a long time fan of Tim Curry. It's fantastic. And in MI3, I'm there too. It's not strong. MI2 was great, but MI3 was just kind of like, we're trying to figure it out right now. So
you guys had a John Woo connection. Oof.
And some of that, the makeup in Legend, some of the best, still better than a lot of things today.
The practical,
I mean, Tim Curry's performance, it's almost like it's a Tom Cruise film, but it's a Tim Curry film. Like he really
in my opinion, Tim Curry did in Legend what Tom Cruise did in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Legend.
Okay.
MI3 was good, but I think overall Legend advanced 3-1. Valkyrie versus The Firm. So
this is a
very hard one for me, and I would like to go last.
Well, it's not going to be very hard for me. And that is, I think, The Firm, in my opinion, is one of Tom Cruise's best films. And Valkyrie's decent, but Tom Cruise cannot do a German accent. So that kind of ruined the film.
Oh man.
If it could have been done a little bit more authentically, I think I would have enjoyed it more. But The Firm, come on, man. Gene Hackman, Sidney Pollack, great film. So I'm going with The Firm.
There's two things that Tom Cruise can't do. Can't do a German accent. We definitely know that. And he can't fight mummies.
At all.
It's The Firm. Easy, The Firm.
Yeah, The Firm. Saw it in the theater. Absolutely loved it.
Were you 11?
I was not. It came out much later.
It's probably one of the best John Grisham adaptations in movies too. So, all right, Chad.
Well,
You're outnumbered anyway, but feel free to chime in on Valkyrie.
I'm outnumbered, but your opening comments on the German accent, I was like, no, it's The Firm. There is.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they should. It's almost like they should have put like Michael Fassbender in that role, and the film would have been better. You know, like I don't know. Okay, The Firm, and now we are down.
All right.
To the next round, and this is the Tom Cruise original Mission Impossible versus Oblivion.
Wow, I knew we were going to get to one that was going to be a hard pass on this. So, that is kind of tough, man. I'm gonna say, although I like the first Tom Cruise, I know it sets off Mission Impossible, sets off the entire franchise without that alone. Yeah, I'm gonna say Mission Impossible. I was gonna go Oblivion, but you know what? Without Mission Impossible 1, you don't have anything. Yeah, it makes you need to check it out. It's Oblivion.
It's good.
Movie.
It is good.
A lot of people didn't see that film. That's why I think like it's under the radar.
Yeah, I gotta go with Mission Impossible just because it was at a time when they were taking these old TV shows and turning them into movies, but most of them were terrible adaptations. This is one of the better ones.
I also remember Dr. Brentley was working for this former company, and they had paid Rob Liefeld to do the most obscene Mission Impossible cover to a comic book I've ever seen. Next to the Captain America chest, this was equally as stupid. So that goes right down there.
Yeah, it's Mission Impossible.
Okay, Mission Impossible advances.
The hat stays on.
Jerry Maguire versus Edge of Tomorrow. Ooh, this is a brutal one.
Yeah, no, this one is. They're both equally good movies.
No, I got mine.
You know what? I'm gonna say, while I like Jerry Maguire, Edge of Tomorrow really did the repeat, rinse, and do again better than I've seen most of it. And there's been normal movies that we've seen this several times.
Yep.
And I just think Edge of Tomorrow just does it well. It does it way better than the Tomorrow Story and a bunch of other things. So yeah,
Edge of Tomorrow did it so well that they made a movie called Looper, and it wasn't even done as well.
Yeah, no, it's Edge of Tomorrow for me.
Yeah, I think Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm on Edge of Tomorrow.
Here's the other thing that helps validate, because we might have some movie buffs in watching the film, is like Jerry Maguire, Cuba Gooding Jr. was nominated and all this stuff. Edge of Tomorrow, Rotten Tomatoes score was 91%. Jerry Maguire is 84%. So even the critics and audience aligns that was a better film. Plus, we like action movies, so it's tough. But Edge of Tomorrow advances.
Sorry,
Collateral versus Maverick.
I'm gonna go with Maverick on this one. As good as Collateral was, Maverick is just it really did, besides saving Hollywood, it was something that actually made you feel in a movie theater and get excited again.
Well, as much as Mr. Dr. Brentley's feelings is amongst this and everything, I've never gotten any of the Maverick films and everything, probably because I just don't give a shit about Navy pilots. It's one of those aspects where I don't get it. And it just never, the first film never really kind of got into it. That was his before I know he did the Days of Thunder kind of scenario, and it was kind of like, a little bit of the Jerry Bruckheimer films. And I've never got it. I think it's a good movie. I just don't get the whole phenomena thing on it. But I think his acting was far better in Collateral. So I know I'm going to get outnumbered by this, but I loved his performance in Collateral.
You do not feel the need for speed. I get it.
I never did, man. It's just I don't get it. The aspect, even through the nostalgia factor. I've seen it several times. I've seen Maverick a couple times. They're good movies. I just don't get the whole the nostalgic feeling from it.
I'm gonna go with you, Mr. Storm. I like Collateral better, and I know that that's anti against Rotten Tomatoes and Saving Hollywood, but I think Collateral is the first time we ever saw Tom Cruise as a bad guy. I'm a Michael Mann fan. I think the ending was really great. The music, the style. I think Top Gun Maverick was your popcorn movie, and I think it was good, but I think it came at a time when it was the first in after COVID. I wonder if it came out during, non-COVID periods, if it would have been regarded the same. Maybe so, but I've got to go with Collateral on this one. Might get hate, but I side with you, Mr. Storm.
Speak says Maverick. Nah, man. We gotta go to the web for this because
well, it's clear. I don't have to go to the web. We know who made more money and got higher.
Obviously.
So if you're saying Top Gun Mav, it's going to Mav.
What's the critic score though? Let's do it on that.
I don't think Collateral.
It's not even close. Yeah. Collateral got 86%, but Maverick is 96%. It's like one of his best ever rated films. But again, I often think like anybody associated with Hollywood knew the impact that film made, and if it came out today, would people feel the same? I don't know, but it is what it is. It's a good film. So, Chad, if you're saying Top Gun Maverick, Rotten Tomatoes and money speaks for itself. It advances.
I am saying Top Gun.
Take my breath away. Okay,
take my breath away. Top Gun was one of the first. Top Gun was one of the first films I went and saw with my dad, and then my dad used to kick my ass on the NES game all the time because he knew how to just make the plane loop behind me, and then he'd shoot me down. So, yeah.
All right, let's get the Legend versus The Firm.
The Firm for me, man.
As much as I love Legend, The Firm is a better movie.
I agree. Firm is way better.
Okay.
Ugh. This one,
Edge of Tomorrow gets the edge.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah,
100%.
Season one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think? I don't want to take us off track. Do you think with this deal with Warner Brothers, he's going to make a sequel to this?
I hope he does.
Yeah,
they've been trying for a long time. It's just getting, they're not going to do it until they get the script right. And this has got to be one of the hardest scripts to write because everything has to make sense with everything that came in the other movie, much less in the own movie. It's going to be going back and forth. So
yeah, there's a lot of times where I know, like, for Dr. Brent and I being screenwriters, every now and then you'll see a film and like, man, I wish I wrote that. Edge of Tomorrow, I want nothing to do with. It's like, because that is a logistic and a story nightmare. And I was like, oh no, man, that was hands down to him, probably one of the best written scripts that I've seen in the sci-fi, but I would not want to tackle that. I can tell you that.
And as toy fans, could NECA please make Edge of Tomorrow figures?
Why? Why haven't they done that?
I know. I don't think it's. I think a sequel will make it a franchise.
Well, also you've got to ask, how come Tom Cruise really doesn't have
he doesn't
that many action figures?
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
It's got to be his. Yeah, it's his.
He doesn't allow. He doesn't allow his likeness at all.
But in that vein too, if you slide over to Ramen Toys and you want something
if you slide
has
over there.
a pilot that probably not associated with an 80s film, you can get yourself a Tom Cruise or maybe or a Cruise Tom figure.
If you're all interested in that, check out Toy Box Chronicles to more in-depth toy stuff, and maybe next episode you all can talk about the
Aces of Aviation,
the knockoff, the KO Maverick. Okay,
he's afraid of voodoo dolls.
Man, this one sucks. I don't know what to do. So.
Wow,
The Firm for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Why The Firm over Maverick?
I think
because
he
it's such a
acted
great
better
movie.
in it.
Yeah, it's
So
such a
the
great movie.
Top Gun Maverick, while again his acting is not bad, but this is also his stunt era, where it's like, you know, he had the special plane that came in and all the, you know, but like there's no stunts in The Firm. It's him, the screen, and he's got to tell the dialogue of the film. It's one of his
he
better
jumps out
performances.
like off a bridge or something. He does a couple of stunts.
They
But
might not have let him do that in that movie at that time. But I
Yeah.
noticed that Maverick, you know, he's actually in a fighter jet and obviously somebody behind him, but still, you know, it's his stunt era. But I think acting wise, and also watching Top Gun Maverick, his acting was good, but not Firm well. You know, he's really putting on a different layer in Firm.
Well, yeah, I mean, that movie at the end just ratchets up the tension more and more and more, and it gets unbearable, you know, but so good. I think I might have to go with The Firm.
Yeah, yeah. Just from an acting perspective, like that's The Firm is Cruise Prime if he was a Transformer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, just look at the poster. Look at the intensity in the poster. They're like, wow.
Yeah.
That was pre-Scientology.
Oh, I think he's been in Scientology when he was born. I don't know. I
That
don't pay
might
close
be true.
attention. The Firm advances, and then we are down to the final two for this side of the bracket. If you're enjoying, as Chet Maddox says, the likes are free, the subscriptions are free. Follow the channel, support the show. If you like what you're hearing or listening to, it helps the channel grow. What do we think here? Edge of Tomorrow or The Firm? The winner of the left side of the Tom Cruise bracket.
I don't know. The Edge of Tomorrow is better than Maverick, so I think I have to go with The Firm.
Oh. Well, like I said, his acting's not bad in the Edge of Tomorrow either, but that story is just really phenomenal. And I've got to give it to the Edge of Tomorrow because it just, again, he does that genre better than I've ever seen anyone else do that sort of film. And we've seen that film dozens of times, and it's the most complicated ending, especially how it keeps us back and back and back. It's like, wow, it pulls you every which way. Although you're right, they do ratchet up that information in The Firm, but Edge of Tomorrow is like, it's one of the few, and we've seen a bunch of these science fiction films that have the same premise and horribly screw it up. So Edge of Tomorrow for me.
And I'm going to say Edge of Tomorrow because here's the other thing about this movie, other than what you just mentioned, is it the first time I think in an action film that Tom Cruise was like played a vulnerable, kind of like not a badass character. Like if you remember, he was in the military, but he wasn't like a guy that was like really trying to get involved. And so I think the evolution of that character was cool because usually he's playing Ethan Hunt or he's playing some badass, cool characters. So I thought that was another side of Tom Cruise we saw. So I think The Firm is really great. But again, leaning towards action and sci-fi, Edge of Tomorrow does it for me. Chet.
I have to give this one to Edge of Tomorrow. And it's a very difficult one for me because The Firm is so good. But the Edge of Tomorrow, like I don't understand how you keep track of what you're doing so many times at the same time that like when you watch it, like the ending, you're just wait, how did you? Yeah, it's Edge of Tomorrow for me.
Okay, well, Edge of Tomorrow wins the left side of the bracket, and we are moving on to the right side.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
I thought you took the subscriptions off, man.
No way, man. I knew he was going to hit the button, and then so I just charged him for it.
A Few Good Men and Magnolia.
This is easy. I hated Magnolia.
What are you talking
about? Any movie where frogs raining at the end is the end of your movie, that's just stupid. Few Good Men is fantastic.
I think that happened in the Ten Commandments at one point too, right? So it
didn't happen at the end. It wasn't their big closer.
You can't handle the frogs.
It wasn't the big closer. It's the end of the Bible. It's not the end of the closer. Yeah, but it's A Few Good Men for me.
Yeah, A Few Good Men. Number one, that entire cast is phenomenal. But I also think Tom Cruise's, now the rest of the movie, it's a little tough to get into, but Tom Cruise's performance in Magnolia is one to just watch. If you fast forward through all the film, just to see his part, it's an amazing point. He really was extremely vulnerable in that film. But like, man, you're sitting across from Jack Nicholson and you're holding your own acting wise, and that had to be tough, man.
So
Wow.
wait? So are you saying that Magnolia was really just like a YouTube short?
I would say that it's one of those films. It's pretty hard to sit through some of the film.
Yeah.
It goes in so many splinter stories, but Tom Cruise's acting in that movie is the highlight of that film. But A Few Good Men, it's wow. It's like there wasn't a cast member. Even Kevin Bacon, who doesn't get on the poster, was even phenomenal in that movie. Wow.
Well, one of the most iconic sequences in film history, replayed over and over again. You want the truth, you can't handle the truth. Every Oscar recap capturing iconic lines of all time, it comes from this movie. So A Few Good Men advances. Next up, Interview with a Vampire versus the second installment of Jack Reacher, which is Never Go Back.
Or Never Do Again.
After that, they made the TV series. They're like,
yeah. Like
Amazon.
I think,
which is good, actually, if you haven't seen it.
It is a fantastic series,
good.
and I know
and that's more of a Jack Reacher, to be honest with you. That dude,
he's
a Jack Reacher. Like,
once you see the Amazon
a little small
series,
for Jack Reacher.
Once you see the Amazon series, you knew they got that. I understand why Lee Charles was not taken with Tom Cruise comparably, but Interview with a Vampire, I think it's probably one of the only really good Anne Rice adaptations that they did to screen, because the other ones they kind of dropped the ball on. But I also will give a little intrigue. The Interview with a Vampire, the TV series on AMC, is equally as well. So, Interview with a Vampire, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Kirsten Dunst.
Now, I remember when this was coming out and people were making fun of Tom Cruise before they had seen the movie, and he had a lot to prove with it, and he did it. Fantastic. Interview with the Vampire.
Yep. Same for me.
Look at that cast. Just on the poster. Just powerhouses.
Yeah, it's a powerhouse poster.
Next up, the original Top Gun versus Cocktail.
Let me tell you something, man. I was like throwing drinks in my house as a young kid and getting in all kind of trouble for cocktails. But more iconic was because that movie, is really crappy. Let you know, don't trust your business partners. Top Gun.
Baby,
here's a funny fact: Cocktail is the worst Rotten Tomato score in all Tom Cruise's film.
Really, is it?
At 8%?
It's not a good movie.
Wow, 8%. Wow.
Way down to Kokomo.
Throw that movie along with Goose's dog tags in the ocean. Okay. Next up is War of the Worlds versus Days of Thunder.
This isn't even a discussion.
Yeah, this is the easy one. Not
Days
even
of Thunder
close.
was bad.
What are you talking about? Days of Thunder came out at such a prime time.
Oh yeah. Well,
did you ever play it? Did you ever play the
chat was saying Days of Thunder?
You knew that.
Did you ever play Days of Thunder on NES?
I did not. Did they have the mellow yellow car?
No, but I think Donnie Simpson.
Did they license it? If not, then forget it.
Yeah, I don't even know what podcast is this again? Is this free to subscribe? Because I don't want to pay.
Yes, come on, Steven Spielberg, War of the Worlds.
I mean, you're underestimating Robert Duvall's performance in this film. I mean, as a NASCAR chief.
Nailed it.
Well, no, hey, I'm not. Look, again, one of my favorite producers, Donnie Simpson, is rolling with that, and he said the Days of Thunder was how he partied in Hollywood, but unfortunately, War of the Worlds is a better film.
If someone 50 years from now is like, what kind of films did Jerry Bruckheimer make? I give them Days of Thunder and Con Air, and I'm like, those are the films that Jerry Bruckheimer made.
But
right?
It's
There's
just
a
like
difference. One is Donnie Simpson and one was after Donnie Simpson. So it started taking a different tone on some of this stuff.
I love Days of Thunder cheesiness, but obviously, in my opinion, War of the Worlds advances. So sorry, Chet.
What
The
is
mellow yellow is got tires and they're flat.
Whatever.
Next up is Minority Report versus Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
Ooh.
Well, I gotta say, Minority Report was the first time I saw Steven Spielberg, Tom Cruise connection. Like that did not work as well. Ghost Protocol.
Ghost Protocol, because Minority Report has some serious plot holes in the second half of that movie that just like I'm like, there's not nobody watching this? No, that's wrong. But anyway, Ghost Protocol. I was a little loud in the theaters.
This one's tough because I really love the Minority Report concept.
Yeah,
and actually
it's a great concept.
And it gets really
And
good
they
reviews,
effed
like
it
overall. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. I mean, they should have, if the Edge of Tomorrow writing crew took this on,
Yeah.
it would have been better. But I still like
it's a watchable film.
The film
watchable.
itself is cool. Like, but yes, it's hard to follow along.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Ghost Protocol, but like the Minority Report, as someone who's not like a screenwriter or like involved in that side, I don't really watch Minority Report from it. But however, about the plot hole problems in Minority Report, watching it as someone that's not a writer, I picked up on those really quick. Right when the second half of the movie picks up, I'm like, what are we actually like? What movie is this now? Like, where are we at here now? Like, so Ghost Protocol though, by far is one of the best Mission Impossible.
Oh, easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
And
by far.
Tom
Jeremy
Cruise
Renner?
in a hoodie, making a little Shadow Crew podcast logo there.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is All the Right Moves, a super throwback, a young Tom Cruise football movie, and Rogue Nation. This one's super clear for me.
Yeah, it's Rogue Nation, but I loved All the Right Moves.
did
Craig T.
too.
Nelson is a fantastic coach. That's probably why he got the job being coach
Coach,
on the
yeah.
TV show.
Yeah,
It was just like
it's this was the era where he started to like these. It was the stunts and all the other stuff that started wrapping up, and like he started amping it up. I think it was Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation. It just started becoming one where he had to outtop himself every time he did it. But I think Rogue Nation is one of the better. Of course, like Dr. Bentley and I have said this about all the Mission Impossible movies. They still pretty much have the same plot. They're disemboweled, and somehow Ethan has to figure this out. So but it's still there's a lot of great action in there.
are we waiting on me? Because that's Mission Impossible.
Okay, all right. I
Yeah.
think it's pretty clear. Next up, the first Jack Reacher versus Dead Reckoning.
First one was enjoyable, but I still don't get him as Jack Reacher, being a person who read mostly the Lee Charles books. Dead Reckoning though, there's some plot holes in that story. I didn't think that they needed to split that into two movies. I think they should have done it in one.
Yeah.
But I still liked Dead Reckoning, and I'm waiting for Dead Reckoning 2. So I'm going to go another Mission Impossible for him.
I'm going to go with Jack Reacher just because I thought Dead Reckoning was one of the weaker Mission Impossibles. Because Fallout, a Rogue Nation and Fallout are fantastic together. They play off of each other, continuing that story. And then this was a bit of a letdown.
I think so, but I think his co-stars really did a better job in this one than some of his other films. He had, it's because his co-stars helped this film together. Because I thought Ethan Hunt's performance as Tom Cruise, it was a little bit lacking there, but everyone else kind of picked it up. So, but again, I still think it was a better film. I just thought it should have been cut into one film. I don't think you needed to split this into two giant films.
Yeah, I've never read a Jack Reacher book or anything. Like I kind of heard about it. I went in to watch Jack Reacher just to watch some kind of action film. And I gotta be honest, I think he did a great job in it. And Dead Reckoning was kind of like, I was pumped to see it, and then I was bummed to watch it. So Jack Reacher for me, especially because Jack Reacher had some really good fight scenes in the beginning.
Yes.
And how he's building up who he is and fight, like it was good. It was a great. If I'm gonna sit and watch popcorn while I'm watching a movie, or eat popcorn while I'm watching a movie, it's definitely gonna be on Jack Reacher.
I think what kills Reacher for me is, again, this just comes after you've seen everything. Once I saw the Amazon series, I just cannot believe the movie anymore, because Tom Cruise is, again, he's not a very tall dude, but he's extremely small when you start watching the Amazon series. You're like, wow, now I understand what the books and the entire thing, you can get the visualization with it. So that's the only thing that kills me about Jack Reacher. It's for me now, it is a disappointment.
Yeah, I get that.
I agree with you too. I can't watch it the same anymore. So I actually enjoyed Dead Reckoning. I thought it was one of the better Mission Impossible films. So I'm going to go with Mission Impossible. Are we at a tiebreaker?
Yep.
Okay. So let's look at Rotten Tomatoes. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is 96%.
Oh, well.
And
wow, it's 96? Well, I didn't expect that. Wow.
And Jack Reacher is 63%.
Sounds like we have a clear winner there. Mission
clear
Impossible
winner.
it is.
Okay.
Wow, 96, huh?
96, yeah. Next up is MI. Wait, did we do MI3?
I thought
No,
we
not yet.
already
This
did.
is the
Was
Yeah,
or was
MI3
that-
was on the
No, this is the first
was
time
that
MI3 popped up.
No,
We've done
No,
it.
we did
that other one was
MI3.
MI2.
So I think
No,
this
MI3.
was supposed to be my fault. This is MI2 versus Fallout. I think it's
Yeah,
clear
okay.
anyway, because Fallout, in my opinion, is the
Yeah.
best Mission Impossible.
Yes.
So
absolutely, hands down.
yeah,
Yeah,
Definitely.
Fallout.
I mean, partly because Superman's such a badass
Yeah,
character in this
is.
damn
Henry
film.
Cavill.
With that freaking sweet
Yes.
VFX
Yeah.
mustache.
Please make him James Bond. Okay, Fallout. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, now we're down to the next round: A Few Good Men versus Interview with the Vampire.
This may be an easy round. I'm going to go A Few Good Men.
Few Good Men.
Yeah, you can't handle the vampires.
Yep, that's true.
And Top Gun versus War of the Worlds.
Top Gun. Mine's Top Gun.
I'm going to agree with Mr. Maddox. Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Not
Come on,
gonna
Iceman.
Top Gun.
You know what I mean? Come on,
Top Gun.
iconic.
Top Gun is classic, man. I was young when I saw that, and all I'm saying is, when the blue scene comes on, it was cool.
Mm-hmm. It's a tough one.
I like Rogue Nation much better than Ghost
yeah.
Protocol.
Yeah,
I just thought the story was a lot better, and the
It
action
felt-
was better too.
I was just gonna say that. It felt like it was. I felt like it was filmed a little bit better. The action was. It was definitely more action strung throughout the entire movie versus big chunks at once.
Yeah, I'll go Rogue Nation as well.
Okay. And Dead Reckoning versus Fallout. I'm going to say Fallout.
No, Fallout.
Fallout.
Yeah.
It's Fallout.
Okay. And now to the final four of the bracket, the right side, Few Good Men versus Top Gun.
It's America versus America right here.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is
Both,
America. This is
both,
America versus America.
yeah, you got the Air Force and the Navy, or actually, was he in the Navy? Actually, no, it's Air Force versus the Navy.
Air Force
right?
and Navy, yeah.
Yeah, A Few Good Men. Like, wow, I got a
I
feeling. I,
gotta
think
go
I
with
know
the
how
Air
this
Force.
is.
Yeah, mine's Top Gun. Like,
Oh.
honestly.
Oh, jeez.
So A Few Good Men is a better film. But if Top Gun is on, Top Gun is watched.
All the time. 1000%.
Yeah,
Also,
I mean,
they did make A Few Good Men Nintendo game, so I
And
Well,
they
it's-
do, and I do they do kick you out of the country if you do change the channel when
Yeah.
Top Gun is on. It's very
when top,
patriotic.
yeah. You gotta. It's like the national. You gotta stand up and you for the opening credits of Top Gun, and then sit
It's
down.
a healthy balance of cheesiness and good and it's
Can we? We're talking about Tom Cruise really quick. Can we talk about how much Val Kilmer killed it in that movie?
yeah. I
Like-
mean, iconic. Yep.
Come on.
Yep. Okay. So sorry, Mr. Storm. Top Gun advances to the final two, and now we have Rogue Nation versus Fallout. I still think Fallout is the best Mission Impossible film, in my opinion.
I got to go with Fallout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fallout.
Probably the coolest poster too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Looks like one of those really like $3
Like
shirts
almost
you get at the swap meet.
James Bondish almost, you know.
Mhm.
That's that kinda,
which is what it should feel like.
yeah.
And the final two on the right side of the bracket.
Well, we know how this is gonna go. We're gonna go Top Gun.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, we're gonna get shit. Okay,
Yeah.
because here's the thing:
It's like
Fallout is the
we get
highest
shit every
rated.
time.
Well, Fallout is the highest rated Tom Cruise film ever on Rotten
Mhm.
Tomatoes at 97%. Okay. And if you break that down of critics and viewers, it's 97% critics, 88% audience. All right. Top Gun, I'd have to scroll down a bit to see, is 57%.
Doesn't matter.
But it's 57% critics and 83% audience. So Fallout still is better audience wise. So the critics just hate Top Gun. Like all these classic cheesy 80s, they don't like.
Yeah,
I gotta
but
go
you
with
gotta-
Top Gun. I gotta go with Top Gun.
You got to go with his probably his most iconic film out of everything that he's done. The thing that I think everybody around the world, other than probably the Mission Impossible, they probably remember Top Gun as like quintessentially when Tom Cruise goes to the final sunset, they will probably do a Maverick line. So he almost gets a military burial for Top Gun. To be quite honest with you, so
Dude,
Talk to me, Goose.
Yeah, talk to me.
I don't know.
And they didn't use any special effects, right? It was all like live shot, right? All action,
Top
live
Gun?
action shots. Yeah, they didn't use anything, right?
Well, this is before CGI, really.
CGI.
So,
But I mean, not even
they used models
Did they?
to do the airplane stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and
they
real
did.
ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if they used practical effects or anything like that, but it sounds like they may have done that. But you can't tell. Like it's
Right.
most of the action sequences are like live shot. Like that's what made it really cool too, because you see some, cheesy model planes flying around the sky. I don't think it's as believable.
Well, you've also got to remember that's a time in Hollywood where people really thought they blew up the Nakatomi building. It's like the practical effects crews did great work, and there was a lot of specialty individuals that were in that field that just because of CGI are not around. But you look at movies like Christopher Nolan's the Dark Knight, and there's practical effects in a lot of that film. So I wish they would go back to a lot more practical.
Yeah,
Well,
and I think I read.
perfect.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead. So, perfect example: practical effects versus like VFX. I say this every time. I know that probably still didn't hold up, but if you go to like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action #1 and you look at those turtles, if you still had the Jim Henson Turtles and the Jim Henson Studios doing them, you could literally put those costumes into the newer turtles and it would have been more believable.
Yeah.
That's
Because
Jim
those
Henson knew what he was doing.
Well, if you go back and you watch that Ninja Turtles and you just look at the costumes like on new TVs where everything is blown the F up and it's all high def, those things still hold up, which just goes to tell you how good like Jim Henson was. But that's the difference between like practical effects versus like VFX. Like practical effects tend to hold up longer. That's why you can watch Top Gun right now and it still feels like it's Top Gun, because it's not like best of the best for CGI in like 90, right? It's just practical effects, and you can't fake real. So it's, I don't know.
Yeah. No, the even the smoke effects, when they first started doing them, you can tell it's CGI now.
Yeah.
At the time it even looked a little fake, but it looked pretty good. But on this, I think I read that the Navy gave them permission to like shoot one missile and film it. But then in the movie, you see them shooting missiles all the time. And so someone got a call, say, what the hell did you do? We said you can only do one. It's like, we only did shoot one. The rest is miniatures. And they're like, what? So if it fooled the Navy, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's crazy.
Who directed Top Gun?
Tony Scott.
Tony Scott. Wow, what a legend.
Him
Rest in
and
peace.
Wrigley, have done some great movies in Hollywood.
Yeah, rest in peace, Tony Scott. Some really great action. Okay, well, we're down to the final two of the Cruise versus Cruise Elimination Bracket Challenge, the best Tom Cruise film of the Shadow Crew podcast opinion, Edge of Tomorrow versus Top Gun.
Well, I'll give it credit. Other than maybe, I think you could probably do a three-way tie between The Few Good Men. These are probably three of his better and best films, and I think that it shows a great range of acting between all of them. But more iconic, more on the top of the list, it's Top Gun over Edge of Tomorrow.
Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Yep. Once I saw A Few Good Men off the list, I knew. I said it's gonna be Top Gun.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner, Top Gun.
So good. So good.
Wow.
There it is.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, we did it. And I thought it was going to be a challenge, and it was a challenge, but Top Gun is the winner. Not as it pertains to Rotten Tomatoes, but
Yeah, well,
of our own thoughts. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Thanks for tuning into that segment of the show. We're going to carry on just a couple more topics. Please like, subscribe, follow the channel. We appreciate you all tuning in this evening or watching us later on record. But as we hinted in the beginning of this episode, first, the popcorn bucket phenomenon is back. It's like Disneyland, right?
Wild.
Again, we talked about Dune. You put your hand in a worm. That feels kind of weird. Some freaky stuff's going to happen with those buckets. But this Ghostbusters, but I'm going to the damn theater. When is the Ghostbusters open, by the way? Is that already, did that come out?
No, it won't. No.
I got to go get one of those.
It's like
That's
a
the
week
first
or two.
time I'm going to buy the bucket. I don't give a shit how much it's worth.
Yeah, like,
Have you seen it?
yeah, I've seen it. Like, why would you not go get this? I don't care what it
It's
is.
a
Like,
no-brainer.
I'm going to get this. This is
Well, and
insane.
you have to go to different theaters because they have different ones for different chains.
No, you do not.
Or
That is
go to
the
eBay.
You no, you don't even have to. Well, you can go to eBay, but no, these were up on two competing websites. I think the one was Cine Movie or something, or one and two. There's different links on them, but they were actually up. The actual Ghostbuster Ecto 1, because the other night I saw that up and I was like, wow. I said, you know what? I'm probably not even going to see the movie, but that bucket I've got to probably purchase. Sold out. And so you can actually purchase them now. The Ghost Trap comes up on March 23rd. And you know, I guess we'll put links up on the Instagram page. But that one actually goes up for sale on March 23rd, so you can purchase that. And I think, I don't know about the Slimer one is, you know, like the Dune one. I don't know.
Yeah. Right in his hand. Oh.
Yeah, that's different. But also 7-Eleven with you know, the Slimer flavor, and you can get cups and everything there. This is the first time I've seen since, let's say, like what do you think about maybe sometime in the 90s when they used to do promotion, cross it between like, you know, like McDonald's and other places, and there was like a big point to go get the merchandise and a hype. And I think that this is a smart thing for Regal Cinema, for all kind of theaters. I think this is gonna, if they can do this for more films and jumpstart this scenario, you're gonna get it back to when we were heading to the theater just so we could get the drink mug, see the film, and there was excitement built around it. I think this is incredibly smart by the actual theater companies, because this is creating a crap load of buzz. And I don't think the movie's going to even be equally as phenomenal as the buckets.
I think it's cool. Like I think about other films that are going to be coming.
Mhm.
Like, please make a Wolverine Deadpool bucket.
Oh wow! No, you've got to do like it in the adamantium hand claws and the drink,
yes.
like out there, bro. Out there,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
But yes,
I don't care if that thing's $50. I'm
Mhm.
purchasing it.
Yeah, no. This is. I love the excitement. I think it's very smart marketing, and we haven't seen this type of marketing in a long time, and I hope
Mhm.
it continues.
Yeah. I mean,
Now,
Was no one able
Godzilla
to get?
versus Kong. Can we also get something special? Let's just do it every damn blockbuster film.
That
I'm
shit-
ready
Was
for it.
so wait? So was no one able to get this Ecto One?
Well, the Ecto
popcorn
One
bucket?
right now they're saying it's sold out, but now obviously there's like we'll give it. There's always a flipper out there somewhere that's actually put that up online. I've seen it going for like $60 to $90 to $100 right now.
Oh, Chet
And-
will find it.
and
Chet
it's
will find.
it's $34.90. It's $34.99 when it was up. So that went extremely quick.
so
Within
I have
like,
to
I
pay
think 2 or 3 hours.
$40 for a bucket of popcorn that should cost about $5, but they charge like 10
No.
or 15 anyway.
I don't know if you can get this in the theater because they had it online before the movie has even opened.
It
So I
might
don't
be
know
from
if
the first one.
I don't
'Cause-
think
'cause
it
they
was because
did
I
do-
didn't see
Okay.
this in the first film. But you gotta imagine, like, I don't know if it doesn't say like if you buy this and you take it to like I guess a Cinemark theater or like a Regal or whatever. If they give you like the bucket of popcorn, so
But
you
they ain't
bought
gonna
it,
give you a bucket of popcorn.
I don't know, so because for $34, like put it here, take my card, put it in there. I don't know if they're going to do that with everything that's happened over the last 3 or 4 years, but it's interesting, man.
Have you seen the Slimer stuff they're doing?
I have seen it. Yes,
I haven't seen all the Slimer
wait
stuff.
a minute.
they-
Hold
they're
on. I'm
doing,
gonna. I got to share my screen. I'm sorry.
But I
We're
want to
gonna
know
do
if they're bringing.
we're gonna do a live
Ecto Cooler back.
Okay, look at this. Look at this. Cinemark going. I
Yeah.
mean, they're going all out. And then the other one. This is the Ecto One.
Yeah.
I mean, this is some next level stuff.
It is incredibly intelligent too, man.
Jeez. Okay.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I will say, I saw that the Ghost Trap version has lights and sounds.
Yes,
Which
yes.
people are going to be playing that during the movie, and it's going to be annoying as hell.
I might need
Well,
one of
here's
you
the
guys
thing,
to get
though.
one of these cups for me though, because I don't have 7-Eleven out here.
A lot of people.
Wait a minute,
don't
there's no
know.
7-Eleven out there? Wow.
Look. A lot of people don't know if you don't go to movies regularly, it costs you $35 anyway for a bucket of popcorn. So you might as well just get, a collectible with it. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you've
Yeah.
been recently, but that's how much it costs. So, on to our final topic of the evening, and that is The Walking Dead. We talked about it returning. Is it desperate? How many more seasons? Rick Grimes, he's back. He decided to leave. Obviously, Hollywood did not open. There was no more doors open for Rick Grimes, so he entered back through The Walking Dead. But what's your take on this? It's actually getting decent reviews, much different than other Walking Dead newer series. So, what's your take on Mr. Grimes and The Walking Dead newest installment?
I'll be honest with you. I, in no way, shape, or form, after I think I've watched, I usually give most of them like a one episode. I didn't think The World Beyond was extremely good. I thought it was extremely poor, and I'm glad they ended that quick. I Fear the Walking Dead, the first couple of seasons was really good, and then he brought these bonehead showrunners that destroyed the series, and it was just a laughing stock all the way to the end. I didn't even watch the final series of Fear the Walking Dead. I had no interest in watching Daryl Dixon because it's like I've just seen this character. Who cares? And same thing with like The Walking Dead, Dead City with Negan and rest. I'm like, Negan should have been dead years ago, and how that hasn't happened. And I think he's a great actor. I just don't think the character works. So I was not even going to watch the ones who lived. But like I was, in the middle of the night writing, and we're just knocking things out. I was like, let me put something on in the background. I will say this, and I should have had our editor cue up the sympathetic violin music, but I like to issue my apologies to the Walking Dead franchise. I know we over the Shadow Crew podcast, we've taken a lot of dumping on these movies. We've laughed and said the show stuck and the show writers and everything. This was the first time that I thought it was relevant, and both episodes were way better than I expected. There you go. So
Best I have.
Sky Grimble, it's like all the people over at AMC when we said that you had a 20-year plan, we thought you were joking, but you did. Mr. Storm of the Shadow Crew podcast would like to issue his apology. And with a good beat, DJ, kick it in.
It's not Doctor anymore. It's DJ Brandon.
All right.
But it's worth the watch. It's the first time in a long time I was like, wow, the characters made sense. Both episodes, there's a surprise in both episodes, and it is generally heart-tugging on some of it. They made you care about The Walking Dead again. Good job, guys.
Nice. Well, that takes a big man to admit when he's wrong, and we appreciate Mr. Storm.
Yep.
Before we get to the final conclusion of the show and talk a little bit about what's coming in the content and always thank our sponsor, I wanted to turn it off to Dr. Brantley for one thing to share with the group.
Yes, there is a special little presentation. Mr. Storm brought this to my attention this week, and just take a look.
Not adjusted for inflation.
51 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Jeez.
Yes, sir. We saw that the other night, and I was like, wow. I was like, so technically, who would have thought? Like, that character would have been around. Lee Majors. Like I said, between that and the Fall Guy, those are two things. But whenever you hear that music and you hear "We Can Rebuild Them," it just takes me back to my childhood. I actually had that $6 Million Man action figure with the Adidas shoes on and jumpsuit. Personally, still, I have the entire box set. Thanks to Dr. Britley a couple of years ago. When you open up the box set, the DVD box set, it actually does. We Can Rebuild Them. It's fantastic.
And who would have thought that the Fall Guy would get a movie before the $6 Million Man?
Obviously, they can't remake it.
But it costs $100 million to make. $6 Million Man, $100 million to make. This was awesome. First, please again follow, subscribe, like the channel. As always, we've got some really great new content available to all of you on the Shadow Knows Network. We multi-stream every Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Also, for those of you who are into toys and all things collectibles, Mr. Storm and Chet Maddox do the Toy Box Chronicles every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, also on the channel. And then a multitude of other different things. You can pass casts, other things happening. And then, as a teaser, we're super toy enthusiasts. And so we are building our collection. Chet, I don't know if you wanted to touch on kind of what's to come for the channel exclusively for those who are listening.
Well, I think we may have mentioned this in Toy Box Chronicles. We are doing a segment of what not, why not? Because for those of you that didn't hear on our last one, we are actually going to be starting our own whatnot store with memorabilia of all kinds, toys, comics, anything like that. Also, a surprise that I don't know if we announce it now or if we announce it next week.
No time like the better, brother.
No time like the better. Yeah, we want to thank our we have an anonymous sponsor who is deciding whether or not they want to be mentioned or not, and we're excited about that. And it's kind of forced us into the idea of possibly opening it up for anyone else that wants to support the cast. But we do send our greatest thank yous to the sponsor that is actually like contributing to the cast now. It's fantastic. I think it's good. I'm excited about it.
Awesome. Well, I am excited as well. And before we depart, obviously, we thank our other sponsor, Mr. Storm, as always.
Obviously. Well, number one, we have a Shadow's newest toy hunt video is at our actual sponsor
Nice.
shop this week, and it's getting very good results. Toys versus games. If you're in Wilmington, California, and again, this is a thing we talked about on Toy Box Chronicles. We'll talk about it here. We want to make great shout outs to the mom and pop stores because this is what keeps the industry going. It's not just the big box stores. And you have Tony, who's a very knowledgeable owner. You can go in there and do trades. He has just a great personality. He's friendly, always inviting. It's a place that you just want to continue to come into. And those are the shops that we want to spotlight as well. So Thank you again. Toys versus Games. You can find them on Instagram at Toys versus VS Games. Tell them that the Shadow Crew sent you. They'll probably take care of you.
Amazing.
Yeah. Also on that, as we're closing it out, we have a name change coming, which will start on April 5th. A little bit of a background story. We started this podcast. We thought, hey, this would be fun, and then we realized that it was a lot of fun, and so the Shadow Crew podcast was just a placeholder while we decided to settle into something new. Chris, do you want to explain the name?
Should we reveal it? Did we even reveal it, or are we saving
we
it?
did last
Yeah,
time.
we don't know.
did. I don't-
We revealed it last week.
Okay, it is
Yeah.
it is none other than Pixels, Plastic, and Ink. And the reason for Pixels, Plastic, Ink is that Pixels, everything to do with media, games, movies, television, all the things we talk about. Obviously, Plastic in the world of toys and collectibles, then Ink, comics, art. It makes sense, and it's super catchy. We can't wait to share the logo with you, some new merchandise, and we'll be doing some exclusive giveaways if we get to 150 subscribers. So
150.
we
And
need
we're getting
150,
close.
and we
We're getting
will
close.
do a subscriber giveaway. So we are inching closer, but we appreciate you all tuning in. Hit the like button. It helps the channel grow, and subscribe. Without anything else, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, any last comments before we depart this evening?
Just other than, again, Toy Box Chronicles, every Wednesday, Mr. Maddox, myself, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. And of course, even though we're going to move to Pixels, Plastic, Ink, same time, same crew, just different name.
Yep, and a guest on this coming Toy Box Chronicles. So stay tuned.
Awesome. Thanks all. Have a great evening.
Stay
See you all
sexy
next
and
week.
subscribe.